now, we're pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
Who? No! Come on! What?
Horrible.
And here we go.
Inside the 20! Touchdown!
You can't win!
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
Sound insane.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
I told you and I told you. Touchdown!
Man, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
You surprised me. I thought you were going to be awful, but you were dreadful.
Championship.
Welcome to the first official episode of the Two Bald Assholes Fantasy Show. It is here. I know I'm excited. You look excited. Well, just judging by your nipples, I would imagine it might be a little cold in here. I am Brian Hill. I am joined by my good friend Jimmy the Wop. And just again, very, very excited about the first episode. How are you feeling? Are you excited?
I'm excited. It's a long time coming. Brian and I have been doing YouTubes privately for our fellow degenerates and all of our other leagues, and we decided let's just do it for real. Let's just do a real one. Try to be entertaining and have some fun with it.
We don't play for real football.
No, we don't play for real football.
We play fantasy football.
Yeah, so we're decided to give it a go. So hope you enjoy it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you mentioned a league full of fellow degenerates. That's put it a little bit lightly.
Yeah, sure.
And that's something that we're definitely excited about. Is that obviously we had when we were doing the podcast for our league, we had a lot of fun. We really loved bringing our passion for fantasy football. We like sharing it with our league mates. So of course, to now hopefully get to share it with at least 97 other people.
Yeah, I would hope maybe crack 100.
Yeah, 100
we had a lot of families and friends.
But mainly what we're obviously most excited for is not only are we going to be looking to bring some pre-draft segments, and help people prepare for their upcoming drafts, but we're also going to be taking this throughout the season. So we will be covering, the news and notes, waivers, and different things like that, throughout the season as well. Now, that obviously is specifically for people who have not drafted yet, which hopefully you have not drafted. But if there's anybody out there listening right now who has already drafted, do you have any thoughts?
Well, I mean, if you've drafted already, you're obviously a simple Simon. Let's just say that. I mean,
A little too far, cross the line.
To draft in early August, mid-August, is just like gambling when you don't need to gamble.
Right.
Because fantasy football is a gamble. There's a lot of luck, unfortunately. I always wish there was more skill.
They do have a very particular set of skills.
And in a lot of our leagues, we're going to tell you about different ways that we've reduced luck to enhance skill.
Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
Like getting rid of kickers and different things. So we'll talk about different ways that you can reduce the luck. But if you draft this early and guys go down with injuries before the season starts, what are you doing? Draft as close to the season as you can. I know you might be in a lot of leagues. I'm in 8 leagues, and you might have to get 12 guys together on a specific date. So, but get within a week. Or at the very most, 2 tops. A week to 2 tops.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And look, I get it. Everybody's anxious. You want to, some people, hey, they want to. Look, one of the funnest things about fantasy football is the draft night, especially if you have a live draft. You get the friends together. So of course, July rolls around. You start to kind of get that itch, but still stay patient.
Stay patient.
Also, of course, now you have best ball leagues.
Yeah, do a cheap best ball if you really want to draft and you really just want to do something.
Absolutely.
Do some mocks. But don't do a serious league. Don't spend $300,000, $500,000 in mid or early August, and then the guy goes down with a torn ACL, and your whole season's over and it didn't even start. So don't do that. Just wait till get as close as you can. Our big league, we do it Wednesday night before kickoff on Thursday. There's nothing that could happen in that 24-hour window. So try to do that. Try to get close to the season.
So today for our first episode, what we're going to do is we're going to look to identify some undervalued, overvalued guys, essentially guys that we're looking at their ADP. And again, we either feel that they're a value where they're being drafted or they're a undervalued where they're being drafted, or as our friend Adam likes to say,
the price is wrong, bitch.
So Wap, currently James Conner is going in the back of the first round, on average the 11th pick in the first round. That would be the 6th running back taken. I understand you might have some thoughts about that.
I really don't like James Conner.
What?
And I think you're making a rookie mistake.
Like
as a human
as a
being,
person, or?
He's okay.
Okay.
But as a football player, to take a running back in the first round, you have to take money in the bank.
Right.
And James Conner, if you look at his overall stats last year, they looked pretty good, and he did a pretty good job. But the problem is he got hurt, and he missed 3 games. And then Jalen Samuels, who nobody really knew who he was, did very well. 110 yards a game. Right. I mean, that's really good.
Absolutely.
He's versatile. So to think that he's just going to be the man and Jalen will spell him when he needs a rest, I think is just fool's gold. I think you have to be prepared for a potential committee. I think you got a new offensive coordinator. This guy, is he going to let Ben throw the ball every down like he did last year? I mean, they were #1 in passing attempts and 31st in rushing attempts last year. So with the no-huddle offense that this new offensive coordinator is going to bring, that he's like the guy that created it in college and he ran it really well. So Big Ben's going to be able to check down and throw, which he likes to do. So I don't know. I don't know about Conner. I don't like him. I would take him at the end of the second, early third. But that's not where he's going.
Right.
So your question is, do I take him? What do I think about? I think it's way too soon.
Right.
Would I take? I'd rather have Dalvin Cook, who goes 4 or 5 picks later. I'd rather have Nick Chubb, Damian Williams. Those are 3 guys that should be the guy. They each have a little bit of risk. But I just don't like that there's a guy like Jalen Samuels, and I don't like that he wore down. I still think he's going to be good. He's not going to kill you, but he's just not a first-round pick. So, Brian, I spoke about James Conner being overvalued. Is there anybody that you feel the same way about, that you really look at the ADP and say there's no way that they should be going in that neighborhood?
One of the guys that sticks out on the list to me, and it kind of pains me to say this, and that's Phillip Lindsay, running back, Denver Broncos, currently still going in the 4th round. And the reason why I say that pains me is that Phillip Lindsay is a guy I like. I love his story. I like, his character. I love, that he essentially achieved the success that he did through nothing but hard work, determination, and all that. So it's just a great story to root for. A great guy appears to root for. He comes up with his, his hometown, team and all that kind of stuff. But I just feel that, a lot of what you saw from Phillip Lindsay last year was everything breaking the way that it absolutely needed to for him to, have that role. So obviously Freeman suffering the injuries that he suffered. Of course, he was the big,
he was the hype. Yeah.
Freeman was 3rd round.
He was the man last year.
He got his nickname, Rolls Royce and all that. And then, out of nowhere comes Phillip Lindsay. And again, it was a great story, but I just don't think that, you look this year, obviously they just signed Theo Riddick on top of having Freeman there. Right. Freeman's there's draft capital to Freeman. He's not some, again, undrafted guy or late round guy. So they want to get him involved. They have to get him involved. And just to me, with Phillip Lindsay, it seems that everything that Denver's done, essentially, it just doesn't line up well for Phillip Lindsay. So just looking at who else you can get in that 4th round and some of your other options, to me, there are a lot more safer ways to go, in that 4th round.
4th round, you got Sony Michel right there, James White, you got Chris Carson. Would you take all of them over him?
Yeah.
Every one of those guys? I think.
Well, maybe it's a good time for us to mention, because I don't know if we have yet, that we're doing all of this based off of a half-point PPR. So really just to try to make sure that we cover as much.
Yeah, we blend the standard and the PPR league. So if you're in a standard PPR, you're kind of meeting in the middle, rather than do one show on standard, one show on PPR, one on half point. So we're basically, that's a good point.
Absolutely. So that's the thing with the James White thing. If you told me, obviously the James White would change with Carson, Sony Michel. Just looking at running backs, those are some of the guys. You start bringing in some of the wide receivers and even tight ends and different, just different ways you can go there that I feel is safer. You're still at the 4th round. Yep. You're getting close to when you could start taking some risk, but for me, the 4th round,
you still got to put a sure thing as close as you can get the sure thing.
We just identified 2 guys that we feel are currently overvalued. Who pops out to you most? Obviously, we know that there's got to be somebody, because we just told everybody that that's exactly what we're doing.
So I hope I have somebody else.
So who most pops out to you as being undervalued?
All right, so the guy that I love this year, and I think most people do, is the two guys in Carolina, DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel.
You're breaking the rules. It's one guy.
Yeah, well,
You get to pick one.
Yeah, but it leads into it. So basically, there's two guys that everybody thinks are equal. And if you ask one person, they think Curtis Samuel will be the man. You think somebody else, they think it'll be DJ Moore. But it'll be close. So if it's going to be close, they should be going around the same time. DJ Moore is going
Makes sense.
in the 5th round. Samuel's going in the 9th. So that's 4 rounds. That's almost 50 picks later. To me, that's just obscene value.
Good math.
Yeah, I mean, I majored in math, so I hope I could do that now. So I look at Samuel and I say, okay, if he could be as good or better and he could break out in his 3rd year, I want him. I can get him in the 9th. And his counterpart is going in the 5th. So obviously 4 rounds of value. Let's just say I really want him. I'm going to take him in the 9th. I'm going to go in the 8th round. I'm going to go 1 round earlier. It's still 3 rounds after his counterpart. So for me, I love that offense. McCaffrey's the real deal. Keeps the defenses honest. You got a lot of different. You got Olsen coming back healthy. You got a lot of people that can take pressure off of him. So I think Samuel, he's very shifty. He's very good. Got great hands. I think he's going to be the best value out of all my people. In the 9th round, that's the guy that I see that I say there's no reason he should be going that late.
What do you mean?
You're a people.
Go a lot of trying just to get up that hill. No, we up in the big league.
That's the theme song for the Jeffersons.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
You out of your mind?
What?
You really need help.
And just because the theme song don't make it not true.
So we before we started filming, we actually talked a little bit about Cam Newton. We were watching All or Nothing or whatever the name of the show is. But anyways, so does that concern you at all? I mean, because we were not going to go into it, obviously, to get off track, but you do have a concern about Cam's health and the fact that he gets beat. He's been so beat up. So does that factor in at all as far as your worry with Samuel or DJ Moore?
I'm worried about Cam. I don't see how you can't be. The dude is taking a beating, and he's so tough, but he just keeps getting hit. He keeps running and goal line carries. And so, yes, and last year, he literally ruined your season. He cost you a championship. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Eat shit, Derek.
Okay. But anyway, his shoulder's problematic. He's got other issues with his health, shoulder, back. And he's just a guy that's just, I don't know. I don't know if he's worn down or if he's healthy and he's rehabilitated and he's ready to rock.
I want to rock.
But the offense, I don't think they're going to be able to blitz him as much as you would blitz a normal guy. Because first of all, you could burn him with his legs. And he's got all these receivers, tight ends, and McCaffrey. So I think he's going to be okay. I think they're going to limit his rushes. Because why does he need to rush anymore with all those weapons? So
Right.
I'm not as worried, to be honest with you.
And obviously, I was just curious. Of course, the main point of your stance on Curtis Samuel is really just about the difference between when you have to take Samuel compared to DJ Moore. Those guys are going to get drafted. As simple as that.
100%.
So it doesn't matter. Even if Cam, I don't know, if Cam was injured before the season started, it would be interesting to see what happened to those guys. You figure maybe they'd still get you. I don't even know who the backup is at Carolina.
Yeah, it's not good.
Gone are the days when you could rely on Derek Anderson coming in to help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All right, so
I think it's Henneke. Henneke or Henneke. I mean, geez Louise.
Heineken.
Can you imagine?
Did
Heineke?
somebody say Heineken?
Oh, by the way, we're drinking beer. We hope this doesn't offend any of you. It's not going to stop us. But, we like beer. We like beer. So
Beer.
I like beer. I like beer. I like beer.
We like beer.
So I identified Curtis Samuel. He's one of my undervalued guys. Give us one. What do you got? You got somebody that you love where they're getting drafted and you think they should be going earlier?
I do. I do have a guy. I have a guy that, I had 2 big man crushes last year. And Sony Michel was definitely my biggest man crush. I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever had a man crush on a player like I did.
We busted your balls. So every draft we did, this guy took him in round 4, and we would all say, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, you're so taking him too early." And you nailed it. I got to give you that. I mean, you nailed it. I took Burkhead in one league, and I was going to wrap around with him, and then you took him.
I knew that's why you were pissed, by the way. I knew that's why you were pissed.
Yeah.
In 3 leagues, I got him in all 3 leagues, and I remember you ripping me in the one league where you took Burkhead. I'm like, I think it's good.
That was Freddie. I won the league, luckily, so it didn't really hurt me.
Well, I mean, nobody really asked.
Nobody gives a shit. He's another bald asshole, by the way, Freddie.
Well, he is.
And one day, I'm talking about degenerates.
I thought you were talking about Rex Burkhead.
Oh, okay. He's a bald
Rex
asshole.
Burkhead is actually, you're right.
So who do you got? Who else did you?
All
have
right,
last
so
year
my
besides-
other man crush, he was a little bit less known, and that was Traquan Smith, wide receiver, New Orleans Saints. He's going to the 13th round, and he is, as of right now, the number 2 wide receiver on the Saints. He's the number 2 wide receiver.
over at Ted Ginn? Have they made that clear? Because that's just.
I don't know if they made it clear, but
Ted Ginn's annoying. Like he just won't go away.
right,
He will not go away. Just go away, Ted.
Right, Ted Ginn.
You got enough
you're
money.
listening,
Just go away.
Absolutely right.
Or just return kicks and just leave us alone, please.
Right.
Bother somebody else, will you?
You guys suck.
You're talking earlier about a Wes Welker. He reminds me of that type. That supposedly this kid is all grit, works his ass off, wants to learn, and has already been impressing once again this year in camp. And I know that was the report last year. And then, again, the big thing with last year was inconsistency. He was a rookie wide
100%.
receiver playing in, an offense with Drew Brees, a lot of
It's a complicated offense.
Right. So that's if you tell me that a guy that's going to get to play on the field with a Hall of Fame quarterback, his big knock in his first year was some inconsistency.
Right.
I'll take that.
That's a
I'll
good
take
point.
that because
In
looking
the 13th round, I mean,
in the 13th round,
what do you got to lose?
give you an idea. So remember, he doesn't even get on the field until week 4. I don't remember, when he finally started to get some play last year, but he finished with, I think it was I think it was like 450 yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns, right? Not much at all. But I believe that if he has the number 2 role coming out of the gate this year, he could double that.
Yeah.
You're talking 800 yards and possibly 8-9 touchdowns.
Right.
I will take that in the 13th round. I'll take that
100%.
all day as my potential, 4th or even 5th wide receiver. So Traquan Smith for me is a guy that I definitely feel when you're looking at a potential, almost lotto ticket type of guy. Because, again, if he's the clear-cut number 2, Michael Thomas can't catch every ball.
Right.
I know people are excited about Jared Cook, but Jared Cook, up until last year, had never done anything. Are we supposed to believe that all of a sudden Jared Cook has found, he is some elite tight end? I understand, hey, he's got Drew Brees, but I still think that there's an opportunity for Traquan Smith to carve himself out.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I had him last year after you dropped him. I picked him up, and he gave me like a game. I think it was 120 and 2 touchdowns. He had like a really big game.
This is why
he showed
it. So happy for editing. That we can edit things out. But anyways, tell me more about how well he played for you.
He played well. He played well in a couple of spots. He played well. But to be honest with you, Michael Thomas takes away the safety and the top corner.
And
Jared Cook takes and everybody else. And then Jared Cook takes away the middle of the field. And if you're right, he's a deep threat, and he's got good hands, and he's got the work ethic. So no, I like him. 13th round. Once again, I mean, you take that guy in the 11th. Sure, you get him. It's still a great round to take a guy like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I like.
Well, if you listen, your late round guys, why not take the guys that are on good offenses, great
Drew Brees
quarterbacks, and things like that?
You know, Drew Brees is going to throw for somewhere around 4,800 yards.
Absolutely.
It can't all go to Michael Thomas. Even if he gets 1,800 of that, there's 3,000 yards. Yeah. All right, so you give 800 of that to Kamara, 2,200 yards, 700 to 1,500 up for grabs. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, you say 800. That might be that might be more like his floor if he gets that job.
1,000 yards. I mean, flirt with 1,000 yards and anywhere from let's say 7 to 10 touchdowns.
Yeah,
it's realistic. It's realistic,
and that's like a 6th round value. So
absolutely.
All right.
And I believe this is a guy that you feel might be just slightly overvalued, and that is running back Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon is probably one of the most hyped guys. He's there with Connor. He's very similar to Connor. And as I said before about Connor, there's no reason to take a guy with tons of risk. Last year, there was no Bernard really for most of the year. Now he's back. Bernard's awesome. I mean, Bernard has proven that he's more than just a one-trick pony. Yeah. He's not Duke Johnson. He could run between the tackles a little, and he's super fast, got great hands. It's a bad team. They're going to be playing catch-up more often than not, where he excels much more than Mixon. Mixon's good. I mean, he's not terrible at that role. But the problem with Mixon is they lost their big lineman. They drafted this guy that was going to hopefully solve their offensive line woes, and now he's done for the year. Then the other guy that helps them from stacking the box is A.J. Green. What happens to him? He's done. He's out for a month into the season probably. So no training camp, no preseason. So now you have Tyler Boyd by himself. Ross is hurt. So I'm looking at Tyler Boyd's not going to keep the defense honest. They'll put a good corner on him. He's more of a wide receiver 2. He doesn't want to be the one. He wants AJ to be the one. So now there's no AJ. There's no offensive line. and you have 8-man boxes, and you're always losing. And you have the redheaded stepchild. I mean, he's terrible. I mean, why is he, it's just like... So anyway, I have a big problem with him going early second. At one point, I think he was going late first, like Connor. And I just think you got to pass on those guys. Take a chance at Dalvin Cook. He's got no competition.
Absolutely.
I know he's got injury risks, but if he be a monster, I take Chubb, I take Dalvin Cook, and I take, to be honest with you, Damian Williams all over Mixon.
Couldn't agree more. Joe Mixon, just too, kind of like you said with Connor, too much risk. If you're identifying running backs that you can go there, you can also go Kelsey. You know what I mean? You can go Julio Jones. You can go
Tyreek Hill. Right.
You can go with guys that just
sure things. Sure things. It's close to sure things.
They've done studies, 60% of the time it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Just remember, when I talk about Connor, I talk about Mixon, I'm not sitting here telling you they're going to be terrible and have 600 yards. They're going to put up numbers by necessity, by volume.
Right.
But they're not going to give you what you think you're getting. You're drafting them at their ceiling. If everything breaks right, if somehow they fix the offensive line, AJ comes back and he holds up, fine, he could probably return that, but that's his best case scenario. You don't want that. You want a guy that he has upside. He's not going to be a top 5 pick. Like last year, you could have taken McCaffrey where he's going, and now he's a top 4 pick. That's not going to be Mixon next year. It's just not going to happen. It's almost impossible.
We're not saying that, like you said, we're not saying that these guys are going to not have any value whatsoever. Again, all we're saying is...
The price is wrong, bitch.
All right, so B, I just talked about Mixon, and I know a guy that you were talking to me about earlier is Tyler Boyd. So what do you think as far as Tyler Boyd with all the A.J. Green, the offensive line? What are you thinking?
Yeah, and obviously, right, it leads right in. Tyler Boyd, you touched on the reason why I feel that Tyler Boyd is overvalued right now. I actually like Tyler Boyd in that role of essentially the number 2 wide receiver with A.J. Green still getting a lot of the attention. And then, okay, you have this new offensive coordinator. Maybe they can get this running game going and all that. And then all of a sudden you lose the offensive lineman and A.J. Green goes down. And now Tyler Boyd is going to be thrust in that number 1 role without any, we've seen this many times before. Some guys are quality wide receivers, but they're quality number 2 wide receivers. It takes a certain something special or different to be a quality number 1 wide receiver. Maybe Tyler Boyd proves me wrong. I would obviously have maybe a little more faith if the quarterback was better, if the offense was better. To me, it just seems like it's Tyler Boyd is going to be the absolute focus of the entire defense. So he's going in the 5th round. So it's not like he's a, first or second round guy, but this is just more of a situation of looking at, the other directions you can go in the 5th round, just guys that I feel, like, for example, Robbie Anderson's going a round later. I'd take Robbie Anderson. I'd take the upside of a guy like Dante Pettis.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree with you. I like that because I would never take him. I talked about DJ Moore was in the 5th round. Take him, even though I think that you take Samuel, I would still take DJ Moore over Boyd. I think a lot of people. I think you gotta remember is if they did really well last year, as Brian said, at the number 2. The number 1 shutdown corner on a team was on the other guy. The safety was bracketing the other guy. When that other guy gets traded or hurt, it goes to him. So Juju this year is going to be the number 1 without Antonio Brown. All-world Antonio Brown, who always got the coverage, no matter how good Juju did. Now there's no more Juju. So I do agree. I think A.J. Green, listen, he's not out for the season. He's out for probably 3 to 4 weeks.
Right.
And he comes back, and he should be back to speed, within 6 weeks. That's half the season.
Yeah, it's half a season. Yeah. And the bottom line, if you're taking a guy in the 5th round, it's a guy that you want to hopefully... Look, we see it all the time. If you're in a very competitive league, as we know, one game, one week could be the difference between playoffs or no playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
In case you haven't noticed, or I'm not speaking to you, by the way, I'm speaking to them, but in case they haven't noticed, we are fantasy football fans and players, but we also enjoy real football. And I happen to be a Cleveland Browns fan, so obviously a lot to be excited about this year. But this isn't about me. Our boy, the WAP here is a lifelong diehard. Never quits on them. Is always just expressing his love for the Miami Dolphins. Should we sing the song?
No, we should not. We
should probably.
We want to keep our.
But
viewers.
if we can edit it in there, maybe just for the people, of course. But anyways,
for the 3 people like the Dolphins.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball. Alrighty then.
Dolphins, all right. So this is the first time you've liked anybody on the Dolphins since Dan Marino. So I'm sure.
Oh my God, it's probably true.
I'm sure excited to talk about. You have a guy that you feel is a bit undervalued on the Miami Dolphins, I believe.
Yeah, you know, one of the guys I love the most on the Miami Dolphins is Kenyon Drake. I love Drake. I love him.
Kenyon Drake. You're throwing me off.
I love Drake, but the coaches don't.
Right?
I don't understand. Last year, do you remember that play against New England? Fucking went to the sidelines and they threw him the ball and he just afterburners.
It's a hero.
Like, whoa, we got to get that guy the ball.
Miami, right?
We got to get him the ball. He's proven that he's so versatile and he's so explosive, but Gase hates him and the new guy hates him. I don't understand. He's being listed as a co-star with Kalen Ballage. Kalen Ballage, he's a talented guy. He's both versatile. He is. No, he's talented. He's big. He can catch the ball. He's fast.
I'll take it for him.
But he's young. He's a rookie. He's only got 1 year experience. And he was third on the depth chart. Now all of a sudden he's a co-starter. He's a co-starter with Drake, and he's saying they're getting all the ones with the offense. So my thing is, I think they want him to be the power back, the goal line, and Drake to be more of the third down and come from behind guys. So Kalen Ballage is going to the 11th. And Drake is going in the 6th. You're basically talking about 5 rounds, 60 picks.
Well, that's
it's
basically,
incredible.
I think that's
well, I mean, where he is in the round would just, it wouldn't be necessarily 12 per round. But anyway, somewhere around 50 to 60
you
picks.
Pay me any attention.
50 to 60 picks later, you're getting the guy that's listed as the co-starter.
Math again.
So I don't get it. I don't understand it. I'm so baffled by why it's not Drake, but to me, I'm not going to risk Drake in the 6th when I can get Ballage in the 11th. If Ballage doesn't work out, you wasted a 10th or 11th round pick. If you spend that 6th on Drake with the writing on the walls that he's just not, for whatever, but we don't see him at practice. We don't know what the coaches are saying. Maybe they just see him going down, always holding his leg and they're like, man, this guy is brittle, man. I don't know. There's something going on. If 2 coaches both do it, because it's not like we see him running with his talent and they don't. Right. They know he's talented. They know he's fast. They know he's explosive. They still don't want him to be the starter. Frank Gore was basically the starter last year for most of the year. And that was frustrating the hell out of me. I had Drake everywhere. So Kalen Ballage, I'm just going to say I love you, Drake, but you in the 6th is insane. It's just you have to be taking crazy pills.
Did you look in the camera when you said I love you, Drake?
Yeah, I looked into his eyes, and not the rapper or whatever he is, the other Drake, Kenyon Drake.
Wow. Well, we just proved how white we are.
Yeah, we're white. We're white bald assholes.
Yeah, right. It reminds me of your hip hop collection back on your iPad. Color Me Bad was
one song
was like that, and like The House of Pain, I think.
It was just terrible. Yeah,
jump around. Anyways, yeah, look, this is like the exact opposite of when we talk about, Connor, Mixon, these guys that are going in the first, second round and why you avoid the risk and all that kind of stuff. That's a great thing about a guy like Kalen Ballage. You hit on a late round running back.
Oh my God.
It's going to give you a big advantage in your league. So a guy like Kalen Ballage, if he's getting that kind of work in camp, and you can get him in the 11th round, like you said, it costs you nothing. If it turns out it was all BS and Drake, blah, 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 okay, you drop him.
You tried it. You dropped him, right. Or you're applying him as a handcuff.
Right. Gotta love that upside.
All right, so B. Hill. It's always nice to be able to talk about one of your family members.
It is.
So let's talk about Justice Hill. And I want to hear what you have to say about Justice Hill as a potential undervalued guy.
The first thing I have to say about Justice Hill, it's got a good ring to it, right? Football doesn't work out for him. TV, something like that.
Yeah.
But anyways,
wrestling, maybe WWF or something.
Right. So, but yeah, obviously, on top of loving the name and on top of being a distant cousin, the reason why Justice Hill to me is a guy I'm very excited about what potentially Justice Hill can bring this year. He's going to the 13th round. 13th round. So again, like Ballage, another guy that it's going to cost you nothing to speculate, take that chance. Obviously, Baltimore brings in Mark Ingram. Okay, Mark Ingram's going to be the feature back. But
100%.
Let's look at a few things with Mark Ingram. Of course, the Saints let him go. Okay, he's getting up there. A lot of tread on the tires, so to say. You know what I mean? And even if Mark Ingram has got another season left in him of somewhat, I don't want to say elite production. You never really call Mark Ingram elite, because that's the other thing. Mark Ingram was on the Saints.
Right.
He was playing in that high-powered offense where the defense has always had to respect, the quarterback, and of course, not happen to have that feature role because Kamara was there and different things like that. But even if Mark Ingram is perfectly fine this year, plays well and all that, Baltimore runs the ball. They love to run the ball. Name me the Baltimore wide receiver core. I don't even know. I don't even remember who's on there. I think Willie Snead might be the one.
Yeah.
So
Boykin, Michael Floyd, I think.
What? Michael Floyd?
Yeah, it's bad. Willie Snead. Yeah, it's
right. So obviously Lamar Jackson, is. But that's the other thing. I mean, Lamar Jackson is a running quarterback, but they're not going to want to run him into the ground, so to say.
Right.
So I think Baltimore is trying to get back to that AFC football. What I mean by that is defense, run the ball,
right.
run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. So again, everybody's loves Mark Ingram, and for obvious reasons, he's going to be the number one back on a team that loves to run the ball.
Right.
But why are we looking at a guy that's going in the 13th round, a rookie who they drafted, 4th round, but still 4th round running back is still value, so to say.
Right.
And looking at what his skill set is, he's got everything there to potentially be a third down back. He's shifty, he can work in the passing game, things like that. So the point is, it's really, for me, Justice Hill, 13th round, is just about why not take a shot on a guy that's going to be on a team that loves to run the ball. And you can grab that in 13th round, have the growing pains.
No, 13th round, though.
Right, but the 13th round, you're not
hunch
drafting a guy in the 13th round because he needs to produce week one. This is a guy that you can stash. You can see some signs from early in the season, and then potentially, again, either he works his way into a bigger role, or with with an Ingram injury, possibly, could be a bit of a lottery ticket.
I'm very confused about you, and I'm sure our viewers. I'm called
you're
the
not
WAP.
the first one to say it.
Italians were called WAPs, which is it's actually not a compliment, but I mean I just love it. I love I'm the WAP, and it's called Without Papers. When we came over from Italy, we were at Ellis Island. They stamped us WOP, Without Papers.
You're really explaining to me.
Yeah, I'm explaining to you. I mean, because it's me, but I don't know if our viewers know what WAP means. But anyway, it's not exactly a compliment, but I don't take anything. I think it's hilarious. But anyway, Italians, I'm Italian. He's not Italian. I'm 100%. He's 0 Italian. Italians talk with their hands, but if you've noticed, I don't talk with my hands, and he does. So it's really peculiar.
I don't know what to do.
Well, we're real happy with what was going on, and at the end of the day, you got to be happy. Everything ended up fine.
Yeah, okay, everything was fine. Thanks. Great job, Ricky. Good job in the car. Ricky Bobby, a force to be reckoned with possibly in the near future.
All right, so the next guy that, I know that you're dying to talk about, ready to talk about, doesn't get more excited than this.
Last but not least,
is a member of the dynamic Tennessee Titans offense. I mean, it doesn't get more dynamic than talking about the Titans offense, but there is one guy that you feel is being undervalued.
Yeah, I gotta say, when you look at the Tennessee Titans receivers,
most people don't.
Yeah, most people. Mariota, when Mariota got drafted, he was like, "Oh my God, this guy's gonna be so good," and it's like just not working out for him. But every year,
thought that to himself.
I mean, Jesus, he's like RG3. It's like they just were hyped so much. But anyway, I don't know if he's going to come around. Tannehill is terrible. Obviously, the Dolphins just say, get out of here. We'll take Fitzmagic over him. I mean, it's just terrible. But let's just say Mariota plays decent, and the offense and another year of evolution starts to come. I like Corey Davis. Corey Davis is coming into his third year. That's the third year. That's the big year. Curtis Samuel is the same thing. Third year guys blow up. That's the most common year for a receiver to blow up. Some of them are doing it year 2, but year 3 is Corey Davis. 6'3", 210 pounds, great hands, fast. He's just the number one undisputed receiver. They got rookies. The rookies aren't going to take over for a third-year guy with the experience. So I think that he's going to be a stud. I think that Derrick Henry is going to open up tons of play action, because when Derrick Henry gets that ball, it takes a lot of guys to take him down. So you have to watch him. So play action is going to be super effective. They might be the best play action team this year. Corey Davis, I think, is going to be awesome. I think that the fact that he's going in the 9th round is a sin. I think he should be going more like the 5th or 6th. But that's probably closer. I think his upside is like he could literally become a 3rd or 4th round household name, or his floor is where he is. So I love that. If I take him in the 9th round and he just does what he did last year, he's value. But if he starts to improve on it, he could be an 8th, 7th, 6th, all the way up. This dude is 6'3", 210. He could be a prototypical Michael Thomas kind of guy. Maybe a poor man's Michael Thomas. He's that good.
Yeah, I think he's the prototypical post-hype sleeper.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything you're laying out, it was essentially what a lot of people bought into last year, and it just didn't work.
Happen,
but injuries and the play calling and the offense, but none of that negates who this kid is, the talent. Like you said, 6'3". I mean, the comparisons coming out were T.O. So
T.O. Right.
There's still absolutely plenty of time for this kid to reach his ceiling, and if he hasn't done that, you're going to want to be around when he does, if he ever does. So absolutely.
All right, so Brian, we got last but not least with you, and that is we're going to go back to Cincinnati again. We've talked about Boyd, we've talked about Mixon, and now we're going to talk about an underperformer for you. I think I'm an undervalued.
Well, also
underperformer. Yeah. I mean, I thought underperformer. I apologize. When I saw his name, I thought underperformer. So, yeah, tell us who you like in Cincinnati.
Wow. Well, yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. I don't think I've liked anybody in Cincinnati, except now I'm ready.
You're ready to give us a like.
I'm ready to bring it full circle. No, my final undervalued guy is Tyler Eifert. And the reason why is because he doesn't get more undervalued than undrafted. And the reason why, listen, what's the knock on Tyler Eifert, right?
He gets hurt.
He gets hurt.
He's the Jordan Reed of the AFC.
He gets hurt. He gets hurt. He's going to break my heart. He's eventually going to get injured. He's eventually going to, miss a bunch of games, possibly. Okay, I understand all of that. So, of course, you want, who wants to draft a guy as your number one option at that position, so to say, that is bound to get injured. But you don't have to take Eifert this year as your number one. If he's healthy for the first 4 to 5 weeks while A.J. Green is out, like we talked about, if Tyler Boyd is drawing all the attention, it's going to stop Andy Dalton from potentially peppering Eifert with targets. Yeah. It's not that Eifert fell off the cliff production-wise and stopped, doesn't know how to play football anymore, doesn't know how to get open, isn't a red zone. I mean, the guy was a red zone monster when healthy. So
he's a stud when healthy.
It could absolutely blow up in your face, but again, he's going undrafted. So this would probably be more for deeper drafts where you're going to have a larger bench or something. But I just look at it and say, more. This is more what, you can't get hurt. You can't get hurt because you're going to have your number one tight end. But if you take Tyler Eifert as well, and look, maybe he stays healthy. And again, especially, this is more about that early part. It's a rental. Right. Maybe you're going to rent, or you even look at it, you say, I missed out on the top guys.
Top guys, right.
So I'm going to go, I'm going to
take a couple guys like Doyle and Eifert and just see if I can mix match.
Just see if I can make this work. So I just think for undrafted, the upside of what if this is the year. I mean, even 12 games out of Eifert, 12 healthy games out of Eifert.
12 healthy games would almost ensure that you make the playoffs.
Playoffs?
Well, it all depends when, and then he'll get injured week 13, of course. So that's what Tyler Eifert does. All right, well, that's it. I mean, that wraps up, concludes our first ever episode of the Two Bald Assholes Fantasy Show.
I've never heard of you wrapping anything up. It's interesting. Did you turn over a new leaf?
I think
your life would have went a lot differently if you would have wrapped up more often.
I think it's gone as horribly as we one would expect it to have gone. But
it was a good time though. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I mean, I hope you were entertained and educated. I hope maybe you came away with this and you're like, I never thought of Tyler Eifert. I never thought of Balaj. Right? Maybe you came up with something and you also laughed. Maybe you like some of the sound bits and maybe like our friend Adam. Who knows? Right. Maybe like our friend Brett.
I like beer.
Our boy.
Not my boy.
All right, so we're looking forward to bringing you the next episode. We hope to have that shot and up very soon, and just really looking forward to spending an entire fantasy football season getting to do what we love to do, and hopefully bringing you guys some entertainment and some joy along with it.
Yep,
so.
We appreciate your support, and
Don't forget to, of course, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. And I believe there's something I'm supposed to say about a little bell, and you hit the bell, and then you'll be notified.
All sorts of things.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll figure it out. You're smart.
We're
smart
yeah. You probably know more about this than we do. So do all that stuff that the other guys, the other shows, the other podcasts, or whatever you watch on YouTube tell you to do. Have a good night.
Thanks.